I was driving down the road from my friend's home one night, and I wasn't considering that an emergency may occur. It seemed like just any regular night. My brother and I had gone over to her home to watch some movies together since we hadn't seen each other much since the school semester started. As I'm driving along the road, I am hit by a driver that failed to stop at a stop sign. After the impact of the steering wheel of my car, I realize that my passenger has received some injuries. The injuries include some cuts that are bleeding badly. I freak out at the sight of his blood. Once I calm myself, I realize that I have nothing to wrap his wounds with. Well, nothing conventional. I end up taking off my sweater to wrap it around his wounds. I then call 911 and wait for the paramedics to arrive. Around half an hour later, the ambulance arrives. They notice the injuries on my brother and tend to him immediately. The EMT then tells me that my brother could have bled out more if I hadn't wrapped his wounds with my sweater. I then realized that even though the accident couldn't have been avoided since the other driver was at fault for failing to stop at a stop sign, I could have at least saved my sweater if I would have had an emergency kit in my vehicle. Luckily, you can learn from my mistake and make sure that you have all the essentials for an emergency kit if you ever need to use one. One of the first things that every driver should have in their emergency kit is a cell phone. Luckily, with how today's society is, that particular device is usually on our person, so no worry there. The next item that drivers should have is a first aid kit. As mentioned above, I could have just used some bandages on my passenger if I would have had an emergency kit. The next items to include in your emergency kit are drinking water and non-perishable snacks. If you or your passenger has any kind of medical issues that can affect your blood sugar level, then having these items helps reduce the risk associated with these medical conditions. Another item that drivers should have in their kit is reflective warning triangles. This alerts other drivers of your presence in case there isn't much light where the accident occurred. The next item that you should have is a fire extinguisher, just in case there are some flames coming from your vehicle after the accident. Emergency clothing items are also essential for your kit. These items include a rain poncho, gloves, and a blanket. Finally, drivers should also include a flashlight with extra batteries. With these tips, drivers can be ready for an emergency on the road if one occurs.